The future of the franchise is in checkmate. Could a deal for an overrated tight end wipe out our draft capital? Beware of the mistake that could bury the salary cap for years. And speaking of risks, BR Rob has months to prove he's not dispensable, because his replacement is already in practice and his numbers are a red flag. And Terry? It's time to panic. If he doesn't get a top 3 NFL contract, 2025 could see him in another uniform. You know it. Rivals are waiting for our downfall, and every second without signing is an open door to hell. Will Adam Peters play hard? Or leave us in disgrace? This isn't just analysis, it's an ultimatum. Subscribe now, hit the bell, and comment on what moves you'd make. Look, I'll be straight with you about this trade proposal that involves Kyle Pittz coming to Washington. Bleacher Report is suggesting that the Commanders should send 2 third-round picks, one for 2026 and another for 2027, to bring the Falcons' tight end from Atlanta. But before you get excited, let's break this down step by step. Kyle Pittz was the 4th overall pick in the 2021 draft, a massive investment by the Falcons, who expected to get the next Travis Kelce or George Kittle. What has happened since then? I'll give you the real numbers. In his rookie season in 2021, Pittz had 68 catches for 1,026 yards and just 1 touchdown. Impressive for a rookie, but that lone touchdown was already telling us something about his red zone usage. In 2022, injuries limited his impact. In 2023, he had 53 catches for 667 yards and 3 touchdowns in 16 games. And in 2024, he slightly improved with 58 receptions for 626 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now I ask you this. Do these numbers justify 2 third-round picks and a massive contract? Because that is exactly what we would be doing if we brought him to Washington. Let's compare this to what we have now. Zach Ertz, at 34 years, had 66 catches for 654 yards and 7 touchdowns last season. I'm telling you this. Ertz was more productive than Pittz in 2024, and we already have him on the roster. Ben Sinnott, our 2nd-round pick in 2024, is entering his 2nd year. This kid is 6 feet 4 inches tall, ran a 4.5 on the 40-yard dash, and showed promising flashes as a rookie. Why would we look to replace him before giving him a real chance to develop? But here's the part that really bothers me about this proposal. Kyle Pittz is playing under his 5th-year option, valued at approximately $10.9 million for 2025. If we bring him in, we'd have to extend his contract immediately, because no smart team lets an asset of that caliber hit free agency without compensation. Do you know how much elite tight ends are making right now? Travis Kelce earns $14.3 million per year, George Kittle makes $15 million, and Mark Andrews earns $14 million. Kyle Pittz will ask for something similar, if not more, based on his potential and draft position. Now let's add it all up. 2 third-round picks, valued at approximately $8 to $10 million in draft capital value, plus a contract of at least $14 to $16 million per year for Pittz. I'm telling you this, that's an investment of over $20 million in total value for a player who has never had more than 4 touchdowns in a season. Cliff Kingsbury could certainly create interesting matchups with Pittz. His 6 feet 6 inches height and athleticism would make him a problem for linebackers and safeties. But I ask you, do we really need to spend so much capital when we have more urgent needs in other positions? Deebo Samuel is only here for 1 year. Terry McLaurin needs an extension. Our offensive line still needs depth. And here we are considering massive resources for a position where we already have 2 capable players. Adam Peters has been meticulous in every move he's made since arriving. I believe he sees the same numbers I'm viewing right now, and those numbers do not favor this trade proposal. The reality is this: Kyle Pittz has undeniable talent, but his production hasn't matched his potential. The Falcons picked him so high because they believed he could be transformational. 4 years later, they've had mixed results. Why would we have more success with him than Atlanta? Now, let's talk about Brian Robinson Jr. And let me tell you something. There has never been so much pressure on a Commander's running back as there is on B-Rob right now. This is not just another season. This is literally make or break for his career in Washington. We'll go over his entire history because context is crucial here. Robinson was selected in the 3rd round of the 2022 draft, the 98th overall pick. The Commanders saw him as a power running back, from Alabama, who could be the long-term solution in the backfield. But his career started in the most dramatic way possible. In August 2022, Robinson was shot in an attempted robbery in Washington, D.C. 2 shots in the right leg that could have ended his career before it began. I'm telling you this, the fact that he returned to the field just 2 months later shows the kind of character this young man has. His rookie season was solid considering the circumstances. 797 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns in 12 games as a starter. But here's where things got interesting. In 2023, he rushed for 1,043 yards and 5 touchdowns, becoming the first Washington running back to surpass 1,000 yards since Alfred Morris in 2012. Now we reach 2024. And this is where I think we see the real Brian Robinson Jr. He started the season on absolute fire. In the first 6 weeks, he was averaging over 80 yards per game and looked unstoppable. But then something changed. Cliff Kingsbury mentioned in his recent comments, "I thought early in the year, when he was really healthy, he was what we expect him to be." That phrase, "when he was really healthy," is the key to this entire analysis. Minor injuries began to pile up. A shoulder here, an ankle there, the normal wear and tear of an NFL season. But I ask you this, why can some running backs maintain their level despite the wear and tear and others cannot? Look at Robinson's stats in the last 8 weeks of 2024 compared to his first 8 weeks. The difference is noticeable. His yards per carry average dropped from 4.8 to 3.9. His yards after contact decreased significantly. And more importantly, his explosiveness, those runs of 20+ yards that can change a game, practically disappeared. Now we enter 2025, and the situation is completely different. The Commanders drafted Kroski Merritt from Kansas State in the 7th round. Yes, it was a late pick, but it sends a clear message. The organization is evaluating all options. Kroski Merritt rushed for 1,189 yards and 13 touchdowns in his final college season. He has breakaway speed that Robinson honestly has never consistently shown in the NFL. I'm telling you this, when a team drafts a running back while having an established one, it's because they aren't entirely satisfied with the current situation. But here's what really worries me about Robinson: the contract situation. He, along with Chris Rodriguez Jr., Jeremy McNichols, and Antonio Gibson, who is no longer on the team, are all in the final year of their contract. Adam Peters will let the season play out before making decisions, and I think that's a smart strategy. The offensive line improved significantly during the offseason. They brought in experienced veterans, developed chemistry, and Kingsbury's system is designed to maximize the running attack. All the pieces are in place for Robinson to succeed. Kingsbury has been clear in his expectations. He knows what this year means for him and can mean for us when he plays at that level. That's not extra pressure, that's pure reality. Robinson understands that this is his chance to secure his financial future, not just in Washington, but across the NFL. The key question is this: can Robinson maintain his elite level over 17 regular season games plus playoffs? Because that's exactly what he needs to do to earn an extension. I believe he has the talent, but durability remains an unanswered question. And now we come to the news that really should keep all Commanders fans up at night: Terry McLaurin's contract. I'll tell you something many NFL executives won't admit. This should be the absolute #1 priority for Adam Peters, and any day that passes without resolving it is a massive strategic error. Let's start with the full story of Terry McLaurin, because I believe people have forgotten the nightmare this man has lived since coming to Washington. He was selected in the 3rd round of the 2019 draft, 76th overall pick, from Ohio State. From his first day as a professional, he has been the epitome of excellence and professionalism. 2019 season, 58 catches, 919 yards, 7 touchdowns with Dwayne Haskins, Case Keenum, and Colt McCoy as quarterbacks. As a rookie, he almost reached 1,000 yards with that disaster of a quarterback situation. You know how difficult that is? I'm telling you this. Most veteran receivers can't produce with that inconsistency at the most important position. 2020 season, 87 catches, 1,118 yards, 4 touchdowns. his first 1,000-plus yard season, and he did it with Alex Smith coming back from a leg injury that almost cost him his leg, Dwayne Haskins being Dwayne Haskins, and Kyle Allen trying to be an NFL quarterback. 2021 season, 77 catches, 1,053 yards, 5 touchdowns. Another 1,000-plus yard season, this time with Taylor Heineke, whom I respect for his heart. But let's be honest, he's not an elite quarterback in this league. 2022 season, 77 catches, 1,191 yards, 5 touchdowns. His best yardage season to that point, and guess with whom? More Taylor Heineke, a bit of Carson Wentz, and Sam Howell towards the end. 2023 season, 79 catches, 1,020 yards, 4 touchdowns. 5th consecutive 1,000-plus yard season, mostly with Sam Howell as the starting quarterback. And now we reach 2024, the season that changed everything. With Jayden Daniels finally giving him an elite quarterback, McLaurin had 82 catches for 1,096 yards and 13 touchdowns. Those 13 touchdowns are no coincidence. They are the direct result of having a quarterback who can consistently find him in the red zone. I ask you this, which receiver in NFL history has maintained that level of production with such quarterback inconsistency? Jerry Rice had Joe Montana and Steve Young. Randy Moss had Tom Brady in his prime years. Calvin Johnson had... Well, maybe Johnson is the only valid comparison, and look how his career ended. But here's what really bothers me. McLaurin is set to earn $15.5 million in base salary in 2025, in the final year of a 3-year extension that averages $22.7 million annually. Kevin Patra of NFL.com perfectly summarizes this. That number is obsolete in today's receiver market. Let's look at the current receiver market numbers. Tyreek Hill, $30 million per year. Davante Adams, $28 million per year. DeAndre Hopkins, $27.2 million per year. A.J. Brown, $25 million per year. DK Metcalf, $24 million per year. Chris Godwin, $20 million per year. Now I ask you, has Terry McLaurin been less productive or less reliable than any of those players over the last 5 years? The answer is absolutely not. McLaurin has been more consistent than several of them, and has done so in much more difficult circumstances. Tyreek Hill has had Patrick Mahomes. Davante Adams had Aaron Rodgers for years. A.J. Brown has Jalen Hurts. DK Metcalf has had Russell Wilson, and now Geno Smith. What has McLaurin had? A rotating circus of quarterbacks until 2024. The Commanders have just over $21 million in cap space according to Over the Cap. I believe they will need to make some creative moves, but this is not impossible. They can restructure existing contracts. They can front-load McLaurin's deal. They can use signing bonuses to spread the cap. Patra makes a brilliant point that I've been preaching for months. Paying McLaurin now, while Jayden Daniels is on his cheap rookie contract, makes too much financial sense. Daniels will earn less than $10 million combined over the next 3 years. That is the window to build a contender around him, and McLaurin is a fundamental piece of that puzzle. But I think there's something deeper here than... McLaurin has been the face of this franchise during its darkest years. When Daniel Snyder was destroying the culture, McLaurin held his head high. When quarterbacks were coming and going, he kept producing. When fans were losing hope, he continued giving reasons to... This man has earned the respect of everyone in that organization. Coaches love him. Teammates respect him. Fans adore him. Will they really allow him to reach free agency? I'm telling you this. It would be a betrayal of everything being a Washington Commander represents. Dan Quinn has spoken multiple times about McLaurin's importance as a team leader. Cliff Kingsbury has designed his offense around maximizing his strengths. Jayden Daniels has already developed a special chemistry with him. Why would they risk all that for a few $1 million? The reality is, McLaurin is going to get his money, whether with Washington or another team. The Cowboys, the 49ers, the Bills. All those teams would be lining up to sign a receiver of his caliber if he hits free agency. I ask you, do you really want to see Terry McLaurin in a Dallas uniform? Extending McLaurin is not just a financial decision, it's a statement of intent. It's telling Jayden Daniels, They are committed to giving him the tools to succeed. It's telling the fans they value loyalty and excellence. It's telling the league Washington finally understands how to build a winning franchise. Every day that passes without an extension is a day wasted. Every practice without contractual certainty is an unnecessary action. McLaurin deserves more than $22.7 million per year, and I think he should be in the $26 to $28 million annual range to reflect his true market value. Look, Commanders fans, these 3 news stories show us exactly where we are as an organization and where we're heading. We have crucial decisions to make, priorities to set, and a future to build with Jaden Daniels as our franchise quarterback. The Kyle Pittz proposal seems more like speculation than practical reality to me. 2 third-round picks for a player who needs immediate extension doesn't fit Adam Peters' conservative profile. But I want to hear your opinions. Do you think Pittz could be the missing piece in our offense? Brian Robinson Jr. is at the crossroads of his career. He has the talent to be a 1,200-plus yard running back, but he needs to prove durability throughout an entire season. His renewed focus in training is promising, but the results on the field are all that matters. Do you think B-Rob can finally have the elite complete season we all expect? And Terry McLaurin, this is the decision that defines the future of our franchise. 5 years of excellence, 5 consecutive 1,000-plus yard seasons, an example of professionalism during the organization's toughest times. If they can't pay a player like McLaurin, then who will they pay? Will they really let the best receiver in recent Commanders history hit free agency? I'm telling you this. I need you to leave your opinions in the comments. Which of these news stories excites you the most? Which worries you the most? Do you think Adam Peters should prioritize McLaurin's extension above all else? This is our community. We are a Commanders family that has suffered together for decades and now finally sees light at the end of the tunnel. Your voices matter in this conversation because at the end of the day, we are the ones who will be at FedEx Field, shouting every Sunday. If this in-depth analysis helped you understand the complexities of our team's future better, give this video a like. And if you want to keep getting raw analysis, honest opinions, and the truth about the Washington Commanders, subscribe right now and turn on notifications. We are not just another sports channel. We are the voice of fans who have waited 30+ years to become relevant again. We are the ones who never lost faith when everything seemed lost. And now that we finally have reasons to be optimistic, we will make sure the organization makes the right decisions. Hail to the Commanders, and see you in the next video.